When I finally decided I wasn't living below my potential anymore, I didn't start with huge goals or some dramatic thing that seemed daunting or unmanageable. I started simple, 4 steps. 4 steps that helped me rebuild myself from the ground up. And I want to share those with you because they were and still are my foundation today. Anchor number 1. All right, this is not going to be for everybody. This is something that was for me. Alcohol. I had to quit drinking it. I had to give it up. And I want to be very clear when I say what I'm about to say next, because for me, it was never like blackout, embarrassing, dangerous. Matter of fact, it was quite the opposite. And that was the most insidious part for me, was the fact that I could drink and still go to work, still manage my life and all that. But it was, when we're talking about optimization and improving your life, it was something for me that did eventually develop into an unhealthy habit of taking the edge off, right? Stressful day, let me get some wine. Like, it was what most people use to wind down or numb themselves becomes a problem when your life is always stressful. Like for me, I'm in real estate, okay? So if you want to take the edge off, guess what, buddy? There's something to be stressed out about almost every day. So when you have that in your life, you also grow up in New Orleans, where I grew up and where I was born and raised. It's part of the culture. It's part of everything. So for me, it became a problem because I was not living to my fullest potential. So fortunately for me, there was never like a rock bottom moment. And I'm grateful for that, okay? I didn't want to end up in the jail or hospital or any of the other rock bottom stories you have. Mine is simpler. I was not living up to my fullest potential. This was something that was holding me back, and it was something that had to be addressed because it developed into an unhealthy habit. It never served me, but it was for sure no longer in my best interest, okay? Even if you're just like on the weekends, okay? Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we have LSU, Saints games, crawfish boils. Like, there's so many different things. There's so many different reasons or situations you get yourself caught in where casual drinking seems normal. But for me, the highs were too high and the lows were too low. So, have a good weekend, watch some sports. Monday, feeling 50%. Tuesday, feeling 75%. Wednesday, back to 100% finally, only to roll into the weekend and have that cycle repeat itself all over again. You're talking about weight gain, you're talking about bloat, you're talking about all the other stuff that comes with it, mental fog, depression, anxiety, stress. Like, that was the solution, a short-term solution to put a band-aid on something. But, and I want to be very clear when I say what I'm about to say next. I'm not here to dictate what you drink or what you don't drink. This is not me preaching from a high horse. This was a personal decision I had to make because that was something that was holding me back from becoming my best self. Now, if you are one of the, and I know a few people like this, okay? So this is not condescending. If you're one of the few, the very few, like I know personally, again, I know these people. If you're one of the very few that can drink on the weekends or have a few drinks here and there and not negatively impact your life at all, then mazel tov, okay? But if you're in the other 95 to 98%, this might be a message you need to lean into. Okay, because I'll end the suspense for you. There's no positive benefit to it, okay? It's a net zero sum game, however that phrasing goes. It's a non-win. I have never not once woke up after a day of drinking and been like, man, you know what? I'm so glad I drank yesterday. It's always been the opposite. Like, this sucks, okay? So for me, it was a personal decision. Had to remove that from my life. It's the foundation in which I stand upon now. And I think it's not talked about enough. I know sobriety for the most part is on the rise. There's a lot of like the younger generation that I think they did the statistics, like far less that the youth that's coming up now is a smaller percentage are actually drinking versus the people that do. So I'm grateful that trend is heading in the right direction because growing up here, especially in New Orleans, like, dude, it's everywhere. It's part of the culture. It's baked into our culture. Okay. So if you have a propensity or a tendency to go into low moments, to have depression, anxiety, stress, all of that, like, that is something you need to remove from your life anyway, immediately. But again, I'm not here to dictate what you do or don't do. I'm just telling you my story and how I turned my life around. Immediately, anchor 2 for me is stillness and God. Okay. Whatever that is for you. When I was drinking the way I was on the weekends and sometimes weekdays, depending on like the stress level and taking off the edge of the business, right? When I removed that from my life, this is the best way to put it. Prayer and meditation and all the other things that I do in the stillness and the quiet improved my relationship with God. And it improved my conscious contact with God, is the phrasing that's used. And what I found that was like, God was always there. So in those moments, in those times when, I was at my lowest, I always felt like, man, where's God in this whole equation? And what I found when I stopped drinking was I was in prayer one day and God was like, I was talking to God like, man, I was going through so much. Like, where were you? you? And the message I got back was, I've been here the whole time. Where were you? And I got chills right now just saying that, because that's the resounding message I got back. So stillness, meditation, and time with God is absolutely anchor number 2 for me. That could be for you, stillness in the morning prayer, morning meditation. It could be in the evening. It could be both. It could be midday. I find myself sometimes multiple times a day spending a few minutes talking to God about whatever situation's going on in my life. And another thing I want to tell you is, God just doesn't want to hear about your problems or when you need something from him, okay, or her, or whatever you identify as the universal power that you look to. For me, it's Jesus Christ. It's God. For you, I want to be respectful of everybody's religions. I don't know who that is for you. So imagine, it's the best way to put it. Have you ever had a friend that always called you, complained, had nothing but negative things to say, or asked you for something and then like hung up the phone and you never heard from that person again unless they needed something and or wanted to vent or complain about their life? That's what most people's prayer life is like if you're not in constant contact or constant communication with God. So I'll just leave that there. You take that however you see fit. Again, this is not a high horse thing. Like, I'm not picture perfect. I never was, never have been, still am not. For years, I was a Christian on Sunday from 9:30 to 11. The rest of the time, zero time in prayer or meditation. Did not read the Bible. I knew certain verses and I read the Bible when I was in church, but outside of church, didn't even open the book. All that changed for me a few years ago when I did step 1, anchor 1, and then anchor 2. You know what's funny about anchor 2 is anchor 2 came as soon as I got rid of the alcohol. Like, it was already there. I just had to remove that obstacle. And that's another thing I'll say too. Anything that you are using to numb yourself, to numb your emotions, to check out, anything is going to cause that disconnect or that antenna, that conscious connection that we have with God and with prayer. It's like the antenna, it's always there, but when we do something to mute that signal, it does exactly that. It's numbing everything, your connection, your antenna. So imagine like a broken or mangled antenna that fades in and out of like a distant radio station. That's the best way to put your potential relationship with God if you are using other things to numb yourself from the emotions and the stress and the feelings that are just a natural part of life. So I'll just leave that there. Silence, meditation, conscious contact with God, and prayer for me was anchor number 2. That was very easy after I'd after I got step 1 figured out. All right, anchor 3 is movement. Movement. I am not going to spend time talking to you about the positive benefits of walking, exercising, doing cardio, lifting weights, resistance training. There are thousands and thousands and tens of thousands of studies that all say that your body likes to move. If you're in an office environment like myself, I like to get my walk in the morning. I go walk 3 miles in the morning. I'll come to the office, sit down for a few hours. I like to stand up, walk around. And then most times when I'm on my grind or in a 75 hard cycle, I'm going to the gym also that afternoon after I'm done working. Now, when it's time to go home and sit and relax, I can actually relax with a good heart and a good conscience because I know I did all the things I was supposed to do. We're not meant to be sedentary. Your body likes to move. It releases cortisol. It releases good hormones. It releases dopamine. It does. Your body likes to move. We are engineered and designed to be physical, to get out there and walk, to run, to all the other things, okay? So movement is absolutely necessary, and that was anchor number 3 for me. 4, one daily promise, okay? One non-negotiable promise that you keep every day. You already know what yours is, okay? For me, I think it was the alcohol part. I think it's something I just had to, my one daily promise was like, okay, this for me, again, I'm not here to speak for you, I'm telling you my side, my story, and how I improved and turned things around. For me, I felt like that was one of the only things that was holding me back from being my best self. Aside from self-development, look, we're always learning, we're always developing, we're always learning and becoming and doing more. But that's the one thing for me that was my daily promise. Like, that's the one thing that was like, look, there is nothing good on the other side of this for me. It was no longer about relaxation and de-stressing. I'll put it to you like this. It did so in that moment. But for me, it was the day after that was really bad, okay? If you already have a pretty good cocktail of sorts, a hormonal cocktail going on within me that has a propensity for depression and anxiety. So I'm not doing myself any favors by ingesting a depressant to temporarily check out for 3 or 4 hours on a Saturday or Sunday afternoon or evening to wake up Monday feeling depressed, anxious, stressed out. The math was no longer mathing for me. It did not compute, okay? If this is something that's happening in your life and you do not want to stop drinking entirely, I would recommend you try to do something, offset it somehow, decide, put your limitations in for yourself. And this is what you're going to find that's interesting. If you put limitations in for yourself, like, okay, I'm only going to have a few drinks on a Saturday or a Sunday, and Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday creep around and you can't seem to not do that, it may be a bigger problem for you than you think. But again, I'm not here to dictate what that is for you. I'm only telling you stuff that I had to implement into my life to change it, okay? At the end of the day, rebuilding your life doesn't start with a major transformational thing. I did make a major decision, removing the alcohol from my life or deciding that was no longer in my best interest. But for the most part, it does not have to be something that's crazy. It starts with small choices that rebuild your confidence from the inside out. Remove what numbs you, okay? Get quiet, move your body. Keep one promise to yourself every day. This could be your non-negotiable. It could be, look, for me, it's the alcohol thing. It could be gym. Workout, exercise, go walk. Your one promise, okay? And it could be a different promise every day. It doesn't even have to be the same promise like it was for me. It could be, on this day I'm going to do this. On this day I'm going to do that. On this day I'm going to do that. And the magic of that, okay, is you may have heard this before, but there's 100% truth to it. Even at a subconscious level, okay? If you tell yourself, Monday I'm going to turn everything around. I'm going to the gym. I'm going to start eating clean. And you don't do that, that is not harmless. That is not harmless. On a subconscious level, you may determine that you are somebody who is not trustworthy. You don't do what you say you're going to do. You always back out. You always get cold feet. You always talk a big game, but you don't back it up. This is not harmless to your self-confidence and your self-esteem. As a matter of fact, it is detrimental to it. I would honestly rather you say, I'm not going to the gym tomorrow and not go, than to say you're going to go and not go. I think the first one is not harmful at all. You're saying, hey, look, not going to the gym. I'm going to rest tomorrow. That's a declaration. But if you say you're going to go and you don't go, I'm telling you, it's going to take a little hit off of that self-confidence and the self-esteem you're looking to build. So really, at the end of the day, what am I talking about? I'm talking about doing what you say you're going to do, regardless of whether or not you feel like doing it, and having a clear expectation as to what that is for you, whatever that promise is. Because, like I said in my previous video, you are worth it, okay? You are worth it. You are. And what I think you'll find is if you make whatever anchors for you, like, look, those are my anchors, okay? Maybe you don't have any of these problems at all. Maybe you're in great physical condition. Maybe you don't drink rarely, but they're for sure. You're watching this video for a reason. There's something in your life that can be improved upon, can be removed. It could be people. It could be too many different things. Again, I'm not here to say what that is for you. I'm just here to tell you that for sure, there's something that you can remove from your life that is going to positively benefit you. There's something you can add to your life that's going to positively benefit you. Moving your body, not optional. Your body likes to move. Silence, meditation, prayer, 100% on board with that. Even if it's just, it could be listening to worship music, it could be reading a Bible, it could be meditating, it could be quietly reading a book. There's so many different things you can fill in the gap there that aren't necessarily of a religious faction of any sort. But what you'll find is that silence, that meditation, and just spending time with yourself, you'll have a lot of things that pop up that but you have the option to work through. Invasive thoughts come in. Hold on, is that real? Do I need to take a look at this, or can I discard that? And just discard it. So those are the 4 anchors for me that helped me turn my life around. And then we'll get into what happened in my life after I started making these changes slowly but surely. I think that's it.